Welcome to Be Live with Dani Kelly. I'm here, Dani Kelly, your host, is directly from Culver City, California, at the Creative Studios, a place that is not just a studio, but a concept for your creation. Welcome, music lovers, to Melody Makers Unplugged. I am your host, Dani Kelly, directly from California for you. I'm bringing you more grooves than a vinyl in the record. Today we are sharing with the incredible Nathalie Matthews, a 6-octave vocal powerhouse from Montreal, who is back with a strong dropping fresh tracks and re-releasing her debut album. Nathalie, bienvenue, or should I say welcome. You are fluent in French, so forgive me my rusty accent.
It's okay.
How are you doing today?
I'm good, thank you. Bienvenue, merci beaucoup. As we say in Montreal or in France, because that's where we hear most French. My French is actually from France, but I am from Montreal, Quebec.
Oh, your French is fantastic.
Thank you.
Pardon my English.
Pardonne-moi. No worries, no worries.
I feel like you are back now with the full force to back to the stage. Is that right?
Yeah. I mean, I've been singing forever, literally.
Mm-hmm.
Been living in LA for 20 years, but I did grow up in Montreal.
Oh, okay. So tell me on the beginning, before you come to LA, back in this Montreal,
Okay.
Who is Nathalie Matthews?
Okay, so I wasn't born in Montreal. I was born in Morocco, Casablanca. If anybody knows Morocco, French Montana is from Casablanca.
My dream, that's my dream. My dream going to...
Casablanca, Morocco is a beautiful place, but I don't know it. My parents left when I was, I think I was almost a year old, immigrated to Montreal, and I was raised there all my life. Grew up in a typical, suburban home. Spoke French and English. My parents sent us to English school at a very young age, so we spoke French at home because my mother's tongue is French, and we were able to speak English at school. So that's why I have both languages, and I have both languages without a distinct accent because I could speak English like an American,
Very good, yeah.
and I could speak French like a Parisian.
Wow.
So yeah, which is pretty cool. I never had a problem finding a job.
I believe it's so like how we say classic. So how can I say in Portuguese? I say in Portuguese elegant.
Elegant?
Elegant.
Okay. Very.
Elegant.
Thank you.
French,
I appreciate it. That's very sweet of you. Thank you so much. So I was raised in Montreal, and I realized that I had a voice when I was I think 13 or 14 years old, listening to, actually, I think I started listening to Donnie and Marie Osmond and the Jackson Fives.
Oh, I love the Jackson Fives.
That was my group. So I started listening to them when I was at that age, and just humming the voice, humming the songs, and realizing that I did have a voice and I was able to carry a tune. At 16, I had my first band. And
what's the name of the band?
The name of the band, it was so at 16 we had a battle of the bands, and it was a high school band, and it was just kind of formed for the sake of having a band in high school, and it was a competition. But at 17 years old, I had a band called The System.
Okay.
And we did a lot, and so you have to understand, in Canada, or especially in Quebec, to drink is 18. And I looked like this at 15. Literally, I look like this.
You look amazing.
I look like this at 15.
So amazing.
I was fully developed. So, I never had a problem getting into a club.
Wow.
So I had my own band at the age of at the age of 17, 18, and we were doing. It was like a 7-piece band. We did at the time the top 40. And I'm going to date myself. The top 40 at the time was Pat Benatar, Heart, before the Mariah Carey and the Whitney Houston came out. and at the same time, it was like the Donna Summer, the disco era, and that was the groove. So it was really a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun to play those songs more than anything else.
So how was your first gig ever? How was it to be on the stage and see like that's what I want to do for my life?
I'm a natural on stage. You know, ask me to sing in front of 3,000 people. Give me the mic, I don't have a problem. Ask me to sing in front of 2 people, it's hard. I don't know why. I just find I'm a little like, okay, you know, it's much more, I'm like, not introvert. I'm not introverted, I'm an extrovert.
You're never introvert, Nathalie.
No. But it's a different vibe. When you have a crowd, it's just, the vibe is just so different because it's the adrenaline and the pumping and the people who want to hear you sing. So, you know, the crowd is there to kind of get you motivated. When you're singing in front of 1 or 2 people, it's not that they don't want to hear you, but it's just not the same thing. You don't hear the and the woo and the clapping and stuff like that.
I agree.
So, and then around the age of 19, so CELINE DION is from Montreal, Quebec.
Yes.
If anybody who doesn't know CELINE DION, you've been living underneath a rock.
And CELINE DION is a whole big break. You're going to tell us later about it.
Yeah, so what happened was you know, at the time I was just kind of doing a lot of gigs with the band, and CELINE is our hometown girl, and there was a few groups, there was a group of singers that sang for CELINE. It's not, you have to understand, CELINE wasn't well known in the rest. Well, she was known in Quebec, in Canada. She was huge in Europe, in Asia. I mean, she had won Eurovision, but she wasn't known in the U.S. People didn't know her.
And what year was that?
And this was, if I'm not mistaken, in the mid-'80s, 88, 87, maybe 85, something like that.
So not in the U.S., only in Quebec?
Oh, yeah. In Europe and Asia, she had won Eurovision. And at the time, you know, like, she, you know, we were like a group of singers who would audition, not just for her, for a lot of French artists as well.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of big French artists who were very popular in Quebec, but would be also very huge in France, in Belgium, where the French language was very predominant.
Yeah.
So I was auditioning and I was singing for other French artists, and somebody heard my voice and they asked me to audition for CELINE, and I got the gig. And I did, I think, 1.5 years with her on the French records. And then at that time, she was going to start, they were trying to prep her for the American market, so she had to take a year sabbatical. I think she was like 20 or 21, something like that. And I'm a year younger than, a couple of years younger than her. And then at the time, you know, when she took a year sabbatical, I was just kind of working with my band. And obviously we're not talking high school anymore. We're talking, I had done college, and I had met my ex-husband, and I wanted to have a family. And
but how was to be on the stage and sing on that time for CELINE DION?
It was an incredible experience. It really was. It was an incredible experience. You're talking a production that, you know, is unheard of. Yes. But even back then, you know, on stage with somebody as big as CELINE, even though she wasn't the mega star that she is today, she was still mega. And she was mega, but she wasn't the mega star that she is today.
On the market, right? On the big market.
Well, it was just a different thing. You know, you have to understand, when you are big in Europe and you're big in Asia and you're big in Canada, yes, you're a star. When you're big in the U.S., it's a different animal. It's a completely different animal. It's a completely different. It's a different level of stardom. It's a different level of stardom.
I agree with
you. And Backstreet Boys, before they made it to the U.S., they made it in Europe. And they were known in Canada. They were known in Montreal.
First, before coming to America.
And nobody knew them. Nobody knew them in the U.S. They went to Europe and they came back. And then all of a sudden, like, just the way things had developed for them, and you know, the radio stations in Europe were playing, and somehow, I think somewhere, and I think if I wasn't mistaken, I think they got their jump start in Canada because people were playing their records, and Canada's not so far from the U.S., and then I think that's how it started. But yeah, it's a different animal when you're dealing with the U.S. It's a totally different animal. And back then it was different. It's not what it's like today.
Yes,
you know,
right.
the record industry was different.
So tell me what the difference, how you feel from back then, the record industry, the music industry at that time, from all levels, like from the stage, you know, the also the money, also the production,
so the
also
record,
the
yeah,
way you,
yeah.
the producers,
The
and
record
everything.
labels back then took care of everything. So first of all, you had to be found. So an A&R would find you, and if they found you, they would find you in a club. They would find you at a listening party. You know, you're talking the 70s, the 80s, and most of the time it was so rare if they took an artist, any artist above the age of 25 or 26, 20. If you were 26, 27, you really had to look like you were 18. And you had to lie about your age.
The industry was harder that
yeah.
time than
Yeah.
now.
Oh,
Now
yeah.
we have more opportunities now.
Well, it's also very hard now. But just getting back to the way things were before streaming came out. This is prior to streaming.
Yes.
So streaming is what killed the industry.
Yes.
The way things were back then, the record labels owned the market. And
Everything,
well,
you
owned,
and your soul.
Yes,
Even
so
your
that's
soul.
right. So exactly. So the record labels signed you. You signed a contract, and they put money into you. They developed you. They put money into the way you look, the way you know. They gave you singing lessons.
Yes.
They did everything from A to Z for them to market you. And if they said you had to lose weight, you had to lose weight. If they said you had to change the size of your boobs, you had to change the size of your boobs.
Exactly.
You know, and it just got to the point where, and the thing is this, is that all the money that they spent on you, you had to give that back once you sold the records. And if you didn't sell records, you'd be working till you were 99 years old.
You owe them everything.
Everything. And that's a known fact. I mean, you'd be stupid not to know that today.
Yes.
Back then, you know, the way things were back then, I think a lot of people signed contracts, a lot of artists signed contracts and didn't, not so much
No.
they did. It's not that they didn't know or they didn't, I would say they
You were more naive because you
they were
know-
naive, but because they just said, I don't care, I want to be famous.
Exactly.
I want to be famous.
Exactly.
And then they just said to themselves, I'll make money later. I'll be
Exactly.
famous. I'll make that money
I
later.
pay you back later.
But, well, no, they had to pay the labels first before they got paid. There was no such
wow.
thing as, oh, hell no, the labels were not going to mess around with that. Now, if you wrote your own songs, then you would make that kind of money. You know, where you would make the money on the residuals, on the royalties, like Mariah Carey. Celine never wrote any of her songs, but she had an incredibly talented manager / husband who protected her. So she didn't get screwed. And she was super lucky on that. But, you know, you have to understand that the managers were the ones who were taking care of the contracts. There were a lot of sneaky managers, a lot of shady managers who kind of just said, well, I'm paying for A, B, C, D, and E. You got the hotels, you got the jets, you got this, you got that. There's a great Netflix documentary right now on this one manager. I forgot his name. Oh my God, he's he's the one who signed Backstreet Boys and you know, Justin Timberlake and the group, and they talk about all that, how he unfortunately, you know, robbed them blind, but yeah, that was the thing, is that they would make sure that they had to get paid back, and there was really nothing left for the artist. And if you wrote songs, and even then if you wrote songs, you had to make sure you were just on top of it. A lot of artists were blind. The industry today is different. You don't need a record label.
Exactly.
You just need a huge following.
Exactly.
And then the record labels will jump on your back and they'll piggyback on. But how many people have 1 million, 2 million, 3 million followers,
Yes.
where the labels will say,
I'm safe and I'm gonna take.
I'm
you
going to take a
forward.
chance on you.
Yes.
You know? And it's not that easy. It's really not that easy, and it's not, and it's a kid's game. It's a kid's game,
Do
and
you
the
think
music is
that
cracked
because today is so more abroad, open, everybody can
Oh, yeah.
go and put your
Oh,
work
yeah.
over there, is as the competition is more
So-
harder than before, even before.
So this is the funniest thing.
Yeah.
Back in the 80s, 90s, we didn't have social media.
Yes.
We didn't even have, what did we have? Motorola with one stupid lens of a camera that you couldn't
Yes.
really, so we couldn't really see the talent. I went to Star Search. I went to the original Star Search. I got auditioned for the original Star Search with Ed McMahon. And again, I'm dating myself, so we're going back. It was before I got married. I got married in 88. This was 85. I went to New York to the SIR building, and that's where my auditions were. And the show was here at the CBS,
Okay.
the big CBS studio off Fairfax. And I'll just never forget. I mean, I had to send in a videotape. And the videotape, I got accepted. And this was before they were accepting Canadians, because the third year they stopped accepting Canadians because there was a whole problem with the taxes, because the taxes was different back then. The social security numbers didn't fit in, and it was just a whole hoopla. But that second year, I got in.
Okay.
And just to tell you that you didn't get noticed. You didn't get noticed. You had to get noticed. There was there was no, the social platform today.
You can't.
It's so vast that anybody can
get
you could be on the moon and somebody will catch you.
Exactly.
Somebody will find you.
I believe today is a more democratic, arena for you can go and show your work, your talent, anything, any kind of type of talent.
Yeah.
You have more opportunity now. Like today, I have my studio. I'm interviewing you.
Yeah,
Back then, you have to wait to be picked.
And to get noticed. So back then, you couldn't just you just couldn't walk into you could get arrested to walking into some label and start singing to the top of your lungs so somebody could hear you. But then the cops would come within 3 seconds and kick you out of the studio, which would happen, or out of the building. Which would happen to a lot of artists when they would walk into Capitol Records. But at least and if you had a good voice, sometimes people would say, "Oh, wait a second, let me bring him upstairs to the 20th floor."
Let me ask you a question. So I believe that a lot of problems right now the artist has of mental health comes from all this like locked off opportunity or a lot of liberty of like things you can do. What do you think comes now? Because everybody talks about mental health, artists, Hollywood, how can it be stable? But I see a lot of people falling apart. And do you think this comes from because you're artist or because you didn't have any structure on that time?
I think first of all, shows like what's that show with Ryan Seacrest? The talent show.
Oh, you talk about
American Idol, which is really the worst show in the world.
It's hard.
It's the worst show.
It's
such
and like
it's such a deceiving show. Yeah. It's such a deceiving show, and so is America's Got Talent. They're deceiving shows because first of all, it's fake shows. They're fake shows. Mm-hmm. Okay, they want you to kill your mother and then come back, go to jail, come back and say, "Oh, I'm so sorry," be a born again Jesus, and then they'll tell you your story. No. A lot of these kids come from all places, from all over the world, all over the country. No money. They'll drop their jobs, and it's the worst show in the world. And for a dream that is not realistic, for starters. It's the worst thing. I think that you really need to be sensible. You need to have a 9-to-5 job, and then you need to do your craft after hours, and that's it. You cannot do it other. If you have loads of money sitting in a savings account, then that's your prerogative.
You can live with your dreams.
Yeah, but otherwise, or if you come from a wealthy parent and they left you $1 billion in trust, then great. Yes. But if you're not, then you need to do what's the most sensible. You can't be living on the street.
But
it doesn't make sense.
But I would say it's an unrealistic dream because a lot of people say, "Oh, I come from nothing," but that's not true. They have the money to support them, and they make this whole story about how I get there.
Listen, the weekend claims that he lived on the street. Okay, maybe he did, but you know what? Some people have it in them to be down and dirty and live on the street. I could never do that. Mm-hmm. I think the average person can never do that. I don't think they could. I just think that it's really hard. Hard. I mean, then again, Toronto is not like Chicago, and it's not like Detroit.
Especially
You know what I'm saying?
for
Especially
women,
yeah.
for women, because we cannot do the same as a man do. Like you compare, oh, I live in the street. No, because it's hard. So what you are doing on the street. So when you say like, oh yeah, I was in the street. So what you're doing? How come you're here?
It
opens a lot of questions.
And it's a very
mind.
tough business because, and I want to talk about this because a lot of women fall into the trap of having to give up a part of their soul. And when I mean their soul, I mean their bodies and whatever else to want to get into the industry. And it's just super unhealthy. It's really, really super unhealthy. Again, the industry today it's a different industry where, yes, you can make your own music, you can put up your own thing, you can do your own thing, you don't need the labels. The labels need us, yes, but the machines are the labels. The machines are the labels. The marketing machines are the record labels. So if you have a massive following and the marketing, the labels will say, okay, you got a huge following. We're going to put the money behind it. We're going to put the marketing behind it. We're going to put the billboards. Yeah. We're going to put we're going to like literally put you on the radio station, do all that kind of stuff. They don't want to develop you. They want you to do the record. They want you to do the studio work. They want you to do the pictures. They want you to do the album. They want you to do the CD. Once the CD's record, and then they want to see the sales. The sales are starting to develop. The sales are starting to come in. If you've done if you sold gold, they might not be too happy. But if you did platinum, then they're going to say, oh, hell yeah, we're going to join her bandwagon. We're going to come in. We're going to come in for an independent record and selling platinum. Even gold, they might say, okay, well, let's give her a little bit of, let's see what she does in another year kind of thing,
I see.
Okay, but then they'll say, okay, let's sign a deal, a $7 to $10 million deal. But once you sign, you can't, that's it. Once you sign, your ass is theirs.
No step back.
Your butt is theirs.
So tell me about speaking of tied up, tell us about your first records. How did you come together?
So my first
what challenge did you face funding
my first record?
Your own?
I took my house, sold my house, took $100,000 and gave it to my producer, who was a good producer. Awesome. I am not going.
You're lucky. You're
yes,
lucky
I had 3 great producers, and I'm going to give them a shout out now. Okay. All right, Victor Holmes. David Cochran and David Ruffin. Victor Holmes wrote for Shaq. He wrote for oh my God, I'm so blind. I mean, I'm so blank. He wrote for he just wrote for so many. He wrote for Mike Capps. He wrote for what's the big DJ? Oh yeah, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Victor. No. Back then, I'm so sorry, Victor. But we are going to put a mention in there, so we're going to look it up. David Cochran was part of the Commodores. He played sax and he played drums for the Commodores for 7 years. He wrote all those hits that Lionel Richie sang and didn't get any credit for it. David Ruffin Jr. is David Ruffin's son from The Temptations. Oh, okay. Those were the 3 main producers from that show, but we had some great songwriters. I paid $100,000 for that song.
Which year was that?
I got off, came from Montreal naive, off the boat, as they say.
My goodness. This was a long time ago.
A long time ago.
For one record, for one song.
No, 13 songs.
13 songs.
So I had also a songwriter called Radena Haddad, and Radena wrote That's Right for Jennifer Lopez. She was a co-writer for That's Right. So you'll hear that record, that song, that album with 13 songs. A lot of it sounds like Jennifer Lopez because she co-wrote a lot of those songs because she was a songwriter for Jennifer.
Interesting.
And it's a great.
Did you have
I had the best time. I had the best.
What was it taking?
It took me a year to do it. Adrian Miller also was on board. Adrian, I'm giving you a shout out. I'm gonna tag all these guys after. But it was just I had an amazing time. I had a great time. We had so much fun. I was just super naive. I was a cougar because I was older. And that's how we went about it. My manager was Travis Jourdain at the time. And the whole point was that we were gonna like make the CD, and I was coming in as an older artist, as a cougar, and a lot of these songs were just based on my experience. First of all, not growing up, but coming from a life where I came from, and then
because your mother, you left everything.
I left everything behind. It doesn't sound very good, but no, I was a good mom. I was a great mom. And, just kind of like came to LA, and just my perspective on life, at the time, I didn't look like a mom of 4 kids. And my whole, just the demeanor. Trust me, I'm not like that today. Today, I'm totally like,
But when you came, your kids already grown up.
No,
right?
they weren't totally grown, but they were a little old. They were still in high school. But when I was here, it was just I had gotten out of a bad marriage, and I needed a jolt. I needed a jolt to feel good again as a woman.
Yes.
And that was my whole thing. And so, just to feel good again as a woman, this was my breakout record. But it was the album. The album sounds. I mean, it's still getting plays. That's the craziest thing on Spotify and all these, these outlets. But the record was amazing. It was a great record. It was well done. The songwriters were incredible because it's super radio friendly. Really, really commercial.
Nice. Did you do a lot of events at that time?
Yeah, we did a lot of events. I did the national anthem for the Dodgers. I did a lot of little things. You can see that up on. The Dodgers kept on trying to take it down because it was there for. But we just did a lot of events, a lot of shows. But again, we did this record on our own, and we tried to push it. It just needed a machine, and at the time, also the transition. Streaming was just coming into play. Napster, which was the machine behind the streaming, literally just came on the scene, and was killing the record labels. So I was stuck in the middle, couldn't get a label to sign me because I was too old, even though I looked good, I sounded good, but nobody wanted to take a chance on a mother of 4 kids. Nobody did. And I wasn't going to start lying about my children. It just didn't make sense. I mean, I could not, I didn't really mention them all the time, but it was just a very difficult situation because I was also very homesick, and I was also, I miss my kids, and it was just a very difficult divorce, and there was just a lot of mumbo jumbo that was going on, and I was just trying to finish this record, and it took a while to do it. It took a lot of money. It was money from my savings, and,
So come from all these situations you went through trying to reconnect to the music industry over here in Hollywood, what do you think should be changed for women, mature women, the industry with talent? Because it's really hard for anyone to get into the industry. But what do you think should be changed right now for more opportunity? Because you have the mainstream, you have social media, but what more now record labels should be do to us?
So what's happening right now, I find, first of all, excuse me, I've dealt with a situation, a couple of situations. I have a couple of great producers that I've been working with. Tristan, and he. I'm so blank right now. So Tristan, this producer that I've been working with for the last couple of years, he works for Mark Ronson, the big producer / DJ, Tristan Calder. And Tristan works for Mark. What he does all his sound, but Tristan also does all the sound for all the major big shows throughout LA, whether it's the Grammys, the Oscars, and whatever. We did my latest song with him, Every Beat. Latest song in terms of what's out, and you can see the video on YouTube and stuff like that, and it's a great club banger. It's an amazing song. He's super talented. We've been doing songs together. I was working with another producer as well, and it's just, I'm working with a lot of other people, but I just find that the industry, the way it's set up, is it kind of backfires on you when it gets personal. When it gets personal, and I'm gonna say, I'm gonna speak my mind.
Do you have any bad experience lately?
I've had yeah, I just don't want to say too much because I just don't want to get it. I mean, it's a very difficult because, it's the kind of situation where I really thought that this was going to be my break, and I thought that this was going to, help me out and stuff like that. But at the same time, I've had experiences in the past where it got too personal, and I find that a lot of women are in situations that when the music doesn't come first, and then then there's a relationship, whether it's producer, artist, manager, artist, sound engineer, artist, songwriter, artist, whatever the case may be, it just doesn't work well. I had a manager 18 years ago, and we're friends today. We're cool today. And, but we were in a relationship for several years, and it got really toxic, and it just wasn't bad. And we talk about it all the time, him and I, and he knows, and he apologized, and stuff like that, and it was fine. But I just think that when the music is not the music, and then everything else comes into play, and it's not, it's just not good. It could never be good. It could never be good. As much as the relationship, and I'll be honest, it's got to be a mutual thing, obviously.
Yes.
Obviously. But even when two people are on the same page, on a personal level, on an intimate level, what, you think two people are perfect? You think two people are always going to be in sync? What, for years and years and years? Impossible. That doesn't exist. Doesn't exist. So what's going to happen when you're in a working relationship? Have you ever heard of Hollywood being in sync when it comes to Hollywood couples? No. No. So I just think it's a bad idea. It's a bad idea. And I unfortunately had to experience that. And I mean, again, I don't want to say too much, and I just don't want to get it too personal because I don't want to hurt this person, and I don't want this person to obviously see this podcast and say, like, what the hell, biatch.
No, you won't hurt anything. I know how.
No, but no. It's just and I think this is what happens in this industry. In this industry, people at a certain level in the record industry, whether in the record labels, and I don't know why they think that they have this sense of a higher thou of being able to hit on someone if they don't get the same reciprocal message.
I see.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like I always say, let the woman make the move. Let the woman make the move on the man. Okay? If a man makes the move on the woman and you don't get any,
response.
Then just respond. Then let it go. Let it go. Don't insist.
Do you think it's an industry thing? Like that's some isolated places that you can find this kind of
It's whether it's acting, singing, it doesn't matter. I mean, the Me Too movement has been the Me Too movement for how many years now? Yeah. And people are getting caught. And we know that, and we know what's going on now. And you can blame whoever you want to blame. You can blame the Diddy situation on this one and this one and this one. But in the end, I just think that men need to take a cue from women. Don't get yourself in a bad situation. Don't. There's way too many fucking cameras. Excuse my language. Oops, excuse my French.
It's okay. We love that. I love the language. It's a spice language. It's a spice podcast.
But why would you wait till somebody takes a video camera and then you're on blast? We are in that era. Why would you wait that somebody has you on why? Like, why would you wait for that? It's just not cool. It's just not cool. It's I mean, that's the way I see it, and I don't know. I mean, if you think somebody is talented, if you as a producer, manager, songwriter, executive producers think that an artist is and it doesn't have to be just women. It could be a man.
Yes,
it could be a man.
it's true.
You know, there are
true.
women in position. There are major women in positions now. So if you think that you know that you're in a position to give this artist a break and an amazing opportunity for them to make their lives better and fulfill their dream, why do you want to mess it up? Why do you want to mess it up?
Because it's not their main project.
You
They're
know?
messing up because it's not their main project. Because otherwise, if it would be their main project, their main goal was to have concluded the project, they would not do anything. Sometimes they may go around. They see how push the button here, there, how much I can get from the side. And
It's just the weirdest thing. It's just like I don't understand.
And I don't believe they do it just one person.
No, they do it. I would presume, of course, because of course, it's not just a one-time thing.
No, it's not.
But it's just so deceiving, and it's hurtful, and it's just so much wasted energy. It's exhausting.
Yes.
And I got to a point where I'm way too old for this nonsense. I'm too old for this.
But before you feel this kind of a frustrated situation, I know that you are a Miss Congeniality.
Can you tell how much I talk?
Fun time about when you're being a Miss. Tell us about how.
So I was a Miss Montreal when
Yes.
I was 18 and a half years old. So it was. So the funny thing is, I entered this contest in Quebec, in Montreal, Quebec, and it's so funny because I have pictures at the house and they're posted on my wall. But so I was a Miss Montreal, and so from the Miss Montreal you go to Miss Quebec, and then Miss Quebec is Miss Canada, and then Miss Canada is Miss Universe.
Oh, nice.
So Miss Montreal, I won Miss Montreal, and then I went to and so from the Miss Montreal. I won Miss Talent in my category, and that was that. Then I went to Miss Quebec, and Quebec. So you have to understand, Canada has 13 provinces, like states.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
But we call them provinces. Only 13, and they're sliced up like this.
Yes.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
The U.S. has how many states? I don't know, 48, 51.
51.
I'm a U.S. citizen.
I got you. 51.
Yeah.
I know the stars.
Okay.
I counted.
Okay. So Quebec, because we only have 13 provinces,
Yes.
we couldn't. So it only has 13 provinces. To have a Miss Canada, you couldn't just have like 13 people representing Canada.
I see.
Do you understand? So Miss Quebec, they had, I think, 8 girls representing the state of Quebec. So they had Miss Montreal, then they had another, then they had the city of Quebec, just like New York,
Yes.
New York State, New
Yes.
York City.
Yes.
So we had also then we had another city called Chicoutimi. Then we had another city called Rivière du Sud. So there were all these little cities. So I was Miss Montreal. Then there were 8. So what they did, they took 60 little tiny towns and put 60 girls together to represent Miss Quebec, because Quebec is a huge state, huge province. And they took 60 major cities from the whole province of Quebec and put 60 girls together. We were 1 week together, enclosed in I don't know, it was a Hilton hotel. And that whole week we had press conferences, we had a whole bunch of things, and we had contests. And then we did a Miss Congeniality, and because I talked 24/7, and I talked about everything from my religion to, I didn't have children. What else did I talk about? I don't know. I talked about Celine. I talked about a million things, and then they voted me Miss Congeniality, Miss Congeniality, and the talent.
Yes.
But the thing is, I did not get to Miss Canada. They took 6 girls to Miss Canada. I came in 8th, and the judge came to me and said, "We would have picked you if you were 5'11".
Oh, no.
I was 5'6". I was 5'6". Yes, because in the Miss Universe, you have to be 5'11" and taller. So Miss Canada had to be 5'11" or taller. And they said to me, they said, "You're delightful, but you're not 5'11". So I said,
"That's
okay."
not nice.
I was and I'm the short, and they took pictures, and I'm the shortest one there. It was me and another girl that were the shortest one.
So
there.
Nathalie, have you done any collaboration, any artists over here in LA, like for shows or records?
No.
So
never.
Are you reaching out to people?
No, I just don't want to get back into that. Don't want to do tours for no one. That's excruciating. When I came here for me. Came here for my. I don't want to work for no one. I don't want to be. It's just if I get back into that, then I forget. It's just that's something when you do when you're 20 or 25.
I see.
If that's the case, I'll go get a 9 to 5 job.
So what's the difference between like doing your own and you have your tours?
Yeah. Because when you're doing backups for someone else, you're on their schedule. I can't afford to do that. I can't. I don't want to be on tour for 7 months and not be home and not be able to see my kids and not be able to go see my family. Nope. That's not me. I'm not at that stage anymore.
So what's your future? What you're looking for the future?
So right now, I'm going to record again with Tristan, and I'm going to be recording with other people, and I'm got a great marketing team.
Nice. Welcome to creation.
Yes. And we'll see what happens. And if God willing, if God wants me to have this, we'll do it. If He doesn't, then I have an amazing life. I have amazing kids. I have amazing grandkids. My children are married, and they got married very young, like me. They got married at 18 and 19 and 20, and they have children now. So it made me a young grandma, which I'm really happy about. I will never lie about that. Super happy. People always say, "Oh, hide, nobody wants that." But you know what? This is a different era. It's a different era. It doesn't matter. I'm not here to, I'm here to please me, whoever wants to follow me, whoever wants to enjoy my music. You can't please everyone. You really can't. I've realized that. You cannot please everybody.
It's impossible.
It's impossible. I'm not out here to reach the 20-year-olds. I'd like to reach people in my age group, people who are a little younger maybe, people who just want to enjoy good music. That's it. It's not a popularity contest. I don't know what else to say, So, Taylor Swift, for crying out loud, is in her mid-30s. This bitch better have a baby soon. If not, her eggs are going to die.
So if you could give one piece of advice to our emerging artists, especially women, trying to find their voice in today's industry, what would it be?
Do not give up your inner...
So look at her.
Yes.
Don't give up.
Do not give up your inner self. Do not give up your... just don't give up the intuition that you have inside your head. If it's not a good fit, if you're feeling that you're not at ease with the person you're working with, whoever you're working with, just don't go forward with it. It's just not worth it. It's a waste of time, first of all, because you're just going to waste your time with it. And there's, today it's not hard to find a good manager. It's not hard to find a good songwriter if you don't write songs. It's not hard to find a good producer. If you're talented and you have every single possibility of an outlet to get your stuff out there compared to what I had in the late 80s. For crying out loud, we didn't have anything. We had Star Search. We didn't have anything else. We didn't have, we had a Motorola. It was insane.
Sure.
And we didn't have anything.
So now you have everything.
Yeah, you have everything. You can do everything. You have an iPhone that you can just do. You don't need anything else.
It's true.
It just doesn't take much. Go find yourself somebody on Craigslist who works for MIT.
So, looking back over your career, the breaks, the returns, the reinventions, what keeps you grounded and motivated to keep creating music?
Oh my God, say that again. I just went blank.
Okay.
I was just listening to...
Looking back your career, the breaks, the returns, the reinventions,
yeah.
What keeps you grounded and motivated to keep creating music?
Oh my God. First of all, so obviously my Lord, my God, I'm Jewish. The good Lord, I pray to him every day. And I know it's so cliche, everybody says the Lord, but I swear on my life, for crying out loud, you get up in the morning and you have your first breath. Well, you think it's just pure chance? God forbid, you might not wake up the next day.
Yes.
You have to thank. I always say my little prayer in the morning. Thank you, Lord, for giving me my first breath. Mm-hmm. And it's in the Bible. You know, it's there. Everybody has their Bible. Everybody says it differently. Every different religion says it.
So religion is a big role in our lives, right?
My religion is huge. It's huge. My community, I have an amazing community that I love. It's my synagogue, the Chabad of Sherman Oaks, which is down the street from me, and I go to, I pray there once a week. I have a beautiful, it's a group of people that just keeps me grounded. That, and again, it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what religion. I think everybody needs that. You need that, especially today, especially the world that we're living in. So you just need to have a little bit of that solace to be able to be grounded. And the only way you can do that is to have, to be able to pray. You could pray to whoever you want. Just have some sort of prayer that you could pray to, to be able to keep grounded. And my children, my family.
Thank you, Nathalie. We are almost ending our conversation. I love to have you here. The Creation Studios. Thank you so much for coming here, today. And my last question for you: if you could collaborate with an artist right now with a song, what kind of the type of song would you like to do, and what artist you pick it?
Honestly, my favorite artist has always been CELINE Dion. She's just such a clean vocalist. You have to understand, Celine, Mariah, Whitney, all these artists, they all came from the same era. Unfortunately, Whitney, we know her what had happened. Mariah still has amazing vocals, but Mariah loves to drink. Celine has always had. She's always had a very regimented way of conducting her life and conducting her way in terms of how she did her shows. And again, that's because of the way her husband, manager, the way they kept the first of all, their private career and her private life as well, and her vocal cords, and the fact that today that she has this disease is just so hard on her, because she did all the right things. She did all the right things. Doesn't drink, doesn't smoke. She had a glass of wine here and there, but she's not a boozer. She's not a smoker. Never did drugs. Never did anything like that. Not a partier. She was not a partier. And the fact that she's today has this disease. She's one of the tip-top cleanest artists vocally that can hit a note that there's nothing to talk about. So that's my
go back to her.
That's my number one girl. My number one.
Oh my God! Thank you so much. But before you leave, can you sing a little bit for us? Give us someone kind of cappella. Just look at the camera. So, one song, maybe your favorite song, or maybe your song. What you would sing?
I'll do a CELINE song, but you guys are gonna hear my video.
So you guys some video clips of her latest
let me do
project. But
let me do let me just get it. There were nights when the wind was so strong, but my body froze in bed, and I just listened to it right outside my window. There were days when the sun was so cruel, but the tears turned to dust, and I just knew my eyes were drying up forever. I finished crying in the instant that you left, and I can't remember where or when or how. And I finished bed. Wait. Oh my God! This is what happens! This is what happens when you...
That's a fun
No, this is what happens when I say one person. Let me finish. Let me start it again.
Be live with Dani Kelly, okay, guys? All live, all like raw.
Finish every memory you and I have ever made.
us online on
Yeah.
Instagram?
So that was so retarded.
Go ahead.
So on Instagram is Nathalie Nathalie _ Matthews Matthews.
And if you want to contact you for shows,
And
events.
and then you can go on my website, www.nathaliematthews.com.
Thank you, Nathalie. Thank you guys for watching I'll Be Live with Dani Kelly. Thank you.
This is what you get on the spot, by the way.
Amazing,
Honestly, I'm very
amazing.
spontaneous.
Woo!